I'm ready now to fill and crumb coat my cake. I have all of my layers are split, so I have 4 layers of cake. So I am going to, first thing is to clean this off from my trimming. And for my cake board, if I put my cake board directly on here without anything, it's gonna slide around and I'll have a hard time frosting. So what I like to do is just take a damp paper towel, squeeze out as much of the excess as you can, so that your board doesn't get soaked with water. This will go down, just spread that out, and then now I can put my cake board on. I am going to be using Italian buttercream to frost my cake. So I have that ready to go, and then I have what we call the dirty bowl or the crumb bowl. So this is a less icing than I need to finish my cake, but I can always add more to this bowl. I want to make sure that I am keeping as much frosting clean as possible so that I have that available for my final coat. So I'm going to start with just a little dollop of buttercream on the bottom. So this will help my cake stick to the board. So I'm making sure that my board is centered in the turntable and centered in my cake board as well. Just like when I trim a cake and split it, I am also working with sort of a clock here. So 12, 3, 6, 9. When I am filling the cake, I am concentrating in between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So I am using an offset spatula. You can use a flat spatula as well, whichever is easiest for you. So I'm going to take some frosting, and I'm going to be pushing this forward and pulling it back. So push and pull so that my spatula is never coming onto the surface of the cake. If I do that, it can pick up crumbs, and then I'll end up contaminating more frosting. So I'm keeping the tip of my spatula over here on around the edge, so I'm making sure that I'm filling my layers, and I won't be struggling to get this out to the edge. So spatula just stays between 9 and 12 o'clock, pushing and pulling that around. My ideal thickness for my filling layers should be no more than 1/4 of an inch thick. We want that frosting to be a complement to the cake, not an equal flavor profile. So now that I have this initially covered, I'm going to hold my spatula here at just a slight angle at about 10 o'clock. I'm going to hold that in one spot, and then I'm going to spin the turntable so that this will even out that frosting layer. Okay? So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to find that notch that I cut. Actually, let me clean this up a little bit. It's a little hard for me to see. That's my dog. There's my notch. Okay. Finding my notch on here. There we go. That was my husband trying to stay out of the line of the camera and trying to get the dog. So these are all the fun things that you get from Chef Becky's home demos. This is the joy that you do not get in class. Okay, so once I make sure that that is leveled around, I'm going around to make sure that all the way around this cake is, each layer they're stacking vertically. If I only look right here when I lay my cake down, it's very easy to stack backwards, and then what happens is you have this cake that goes at an angle. So I want to make sure that I am looking all the way around to make sure that these layers are vertical. So now I'm gonna come back again working between 9 and 12 o'clock, pushing that frosting and pulling it back. Okay, Now I'm going to hold my spatula here at 10 o'clock. So you want to make sure too, when you're holding this spatula here, make sure you're not holding it down here. It's very easy to tilt your spatula and you end up getting a dome shape in your frosting. So you want to make sure that you're concentrating in the center of the cake, and then that you're staying up here at 10 o'clock. Okay? Take away that excess again. Okay? Find my notch. So to look for it, I'm just using my thumbs to just gently pull, try to pull the cake in opposite directions, and then that notch will open up. See it there? And where's my notch here? Okay. So line that notch up, checking that I'm good side to side. Gently lay that down, and then I'm turning it around and just adjusting to make sure that my cake, all my cake layers are lining up. Once I see that it's good, just give that a little press, and now I can come back for my last filling layer. Forward and back, forward and back. Still working between 9 and midnight or 12 o'clock, and then holding here at 10, holding that spatula in one spot, spinning the turntable until we see that level out, nice and smooth. Clean away my excess. Okay, now I'm ready for my last one. Find that notch again. There we go. Same thing, line it up, check side to side. Turn that around, make sure that it is lining up all the way around, and I'll give that a little press. So now, this is gonna be our final chance to make sure that our cake is level. I don't do checking the level before it's filled because I may have filled unevenly. So this is the best time to do that. So I'm gonna get down on eye level, give this a spin, and check for any high spots. So you can just gently give that a touch down and see if maybe it would just, your cake wasn't pressed down all the way. But you don't want to be only pressing to even it out, because then you can just end up squeezing out frosting, and our goal is to have the inside where we have even layers of cake, even layers of frosting, so that it's as beautiful on the inside as it is on the outside. If you do see a high spot, just use your serrated knife to gently shave that away, and then you are ready to go. So now we're ready for the crumb coat. So I am going to take a damp towel or a damp paper towel, and I'm just going to clean the crumbs off of the board. I want to be in as much of a crumb-free environment as I can be. I'm also going to just run my spatula around here one time, smooth that around. Okay, so now when I'm ready for my crumb coat, I'm actually going to be working over at the 3 o'clock position. So one moment.